Hey, fifth grade. Okay, so today it is Tuesday, January 12th, and we have some division notes that we're going to take. However, if you're listening to this video right now and you have not watched the other video from box method division, I need you to pause this video and I need you to go watch the other video before taking these notes. That's how I do it every time that I teach this. I have you guys watch the video first, and then we come back and we take notes and we talk about it, and then we practice it. So, like I said, if you haven't already watched that other YouTube video that I shared with you, please pause the video, and I need you to go back and I need you to watch it first, okay? So, if you've already watched that one, here we go. We're going to go to page 18. Woo. Okay? And we're going to talk about box method hyphen division. Like I said, today is the 12th, 2021. Okay. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and put down page 19 because I told you guys we would be talking about two different methods today. I'm going to ask that you try both of them, and then you get to choose the one that works best for you. Okay, and so we're going to talk about also the standard algorithm, which is long division. And that's also going to be on the 12th. Okay, and yes, I'm expecting you guys to take both sets of these notes because you're going to have to know how to do it more than one way. Box method is very much related to the standard algorithm of long division. It just puts it in a graphic organizer for you. Okay, so here we go, turning to the next available right and left side page. Woo. Okay, this was page 17. I knew I forgot to write it down the other day. So if you didn't write it down on partial quotient, make sure you get 17 down. So next available page is page 18. We write on the right hand side only. I'm going to come up here to the top. I'm going to put 1, 12, 20, 21. Okay, and here we go. So we're going to write our title, box method hyphen division. Okay. Okay, so our objective. I can utilize the box method to solve division problems okay, so it's going to be pretty short. So in true Miss Lewis fashion, we're going to fold our page in half. We have a right side and we have a left side. I'll remind you, if you at any time feel like I'm moving too fast, please pause the video, catch up, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. Okay, so step-by-step directions. Step 1. Is to draw a box using the number of digits in the dividend Okay, so draw a box using the number of digits in the dividend. Okay, so that means if you have a 3-digit dividend, you're going to have 3 compartments in your box. Okay, here we go. Step 2. Write a digit from each. No, not from each. From dividend in each box. So number 2's got a couple of steps in it. Then we're going to write the divisor to the left. And then we're going to list the multiples of the divisor, just like we've been doing. Okay, so step 2 is a little bit long, but those are some things that we need to do to set up our problem. Okay, so step 3. We have D, M, S, B. Okay, does McDonald's sell burgers? So the first one is to divide and we're talking about in each box, okay, in each section of the box method. Second step is to then multiply in that box. Okay, and this also multiply, think multiples. Then we subtract. Once again, this is each box. We have to do this in each one before we move on to the next one. And then we bring over. So whatever's left over from our subtraction, we bring it over, and then we start on the next box. Okay? Here we go, step 4. Is to work through each box to find the quotient. Remember, there may be a remainder. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then the final step, and we've been doing this all along here, step 5, is to check with the inverse, meaning the opposite operation, which would be, you guessed it, multiplication. Okay? So that's our box method of division. Step-by-step instructions. So now let's work a problem out. Let's do an example problem. Okay, example number 1. Find me some examples. so let's do 608, which is our dividend, divided by 19. Okay? So we're going to draw a box using the number of digits in the dividend. So 608 is my dividend. It's what's being divided. So it has 3 digits. So I'm going to draw a box. One, two, three. Okay, so it says write a digit from the dividend in each box. So I'm going to write a 6 here, and I'm going to put them all the way to the right, and you'll understand why here in just a moment. Okay, so I've got 608. I've got to write the divisor, which is 19, to the left. And then I'm going to list the multiples of the divisor, and I'm just going to do that right over here. I'm going to do, okay, 19 times 2 gives me an 8. 38, 19 times 3 gives me a 7. 19 times 4 gives me a 6. Okay, so once again we have a pattern. We did this the other day. Something just like this. So this next one's going to be 5, and then 95. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there and see if I need to go any further later on. So I'm going to start here. Now the other piece of this, I have to find my first digit. So I'm at step 3. I'm going to spend a long time in step 3 and 4. Okay, so divide. So 6 divided by 19. Well guys, I can't do it, so I'm going to put a 0 up here. So now I multiply. 19 times 0 is 0. Okay, now I've got to subtract. So I'm going to put my subtraction. 6 minus 0 is 6. Now I bring over. So I'm going to bring this 6 up and over to this next box. So now I'm going 19 into 60. So I'm working in this box only. So 60 divided by 19. Well, 19, 38, 57, 76. I can't go over 60. I've got to go under. It's just like partial quotients. So I'm going to go in this many times, so 1, 2, 3, so I'm going to put a 3 up here. 19 times 3 was 57, because I divided, I multiplied, now I've got to subtract. This becomes a 5, 10, this becomes a 3, so now I'm going to bring my 3 over, and now I have 38. How many times does 19 go into 38? 1, 2, that's dividing. 19 times 2 is 38. I subtract. I have none left. Now, if this had some left, say it had 1, I would bring it up and over as a remainder. But I don't have a remainder in this one. So I worked through each box. Okay? And now I've got to check with the inverse operation. So my quotient here is 32. So I'm going to check. So I'm going to do 32 times 19. And see what I get. I should get 608 if my quotient is correct. So 9 times 2, 18. 9 times 3, 27, 28. Done with that 1. 1 times 2, 1 times 3. Now I'm going to add 8 plus 0 is 8. 10, 3, 4, 5, 6. 608. Yes, it matches. So 32 is the correct answer. Okay, so let's work another one. I'm just going to make one up because I need some bigger numbers. Oh, here we go. Example number 2. Oh, so here we go. Okay, I have 7,704 divided by divided by 33. Okay? So I go back through my steps. I need to draw a box using number digits in the dividend. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So my box is going to be big enough. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it says write a digit from the dividend in each box. So I've got 7, 7, 0, 4. Once again, I put them all the way to the right because when I bring it over, I want room to put something in front of those numbers. I'm going to write my divisor to the left. 33 is my divisor, and then I'm going to list the multiples of the divisor. So I've got 33. Well, this one's a little bit more simple. So now times 4 gives me 12. Times 5 gives me 15. Okay, so I'm going to stop there and see what I come up with. So here we go. Going to get started. We're going to divide each box, multiply, subtract, bring over. So DMSB. Does McDonald's sell burgers? Divide, multiply, subtract, bring over. So 7 divided by 33. I can't do that. So I'm going to put a 0. 33 times 0 is 0 per the 0 property. Subtract 7 minus 0 is still 7. I bring that 7 over. So now I have 77. So 77 divided by 33. Well, it'll go in twice. 33 times 2 was 66. Subtract. I get 11. So now I've got to bring that 11 over. Yes, it's okay to bring 11 over. So now I'm going into 110. So how many times does 3 go into 110? Well, 33, 66, 99, 132. That's too high. This is as close as I get. So 33 times 1, 2, 3 is 99. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to borrow. That becomes 11, becomes 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 10 minus 9 is 1. I have 11 again, so now I have 114 because I brought my 11 over. So again, I've got to go into 114 without going over. Well, I can only go in 3 times, which is 99. I've got to subtract. 0, 11, makes it 10, makes it 14, minus 9 gives me a 5. And then 10 minus 9 gives me 1. So right here, I have this left over. This is what we're calling our remainder. So I'm going to bring it up and over. I'm going to say remainder of 15. Now, as long as your remainder is less than your divisor, then your answer is probably reasonable. However, if you get 33 or above here, like on this particular problem, then it would be wrong because you could have gone in one more time. Okay, so make sure that your remainder is less than your divisor. If it's not, then you didn't go in enough times. So now we're going to check. We're at step 5. So we've got our quotient of 233, remainder 15. So I'm going to do 233 multiplied by 33. And then when I get this answer, I then have to add the 15 back to it. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. Starting my next row, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. I add. 9 plus 9 is 18. Gives me 16. Gives me 7. Got to add my 15 back to it because I've got a remainder of 15. Gives me, no, that does not. It gives me a 4. Whoops, losing my mind. See, 4, because it's 14, 8, 9, 10, 0, 6 plus 1 is 7, and then I have a 7, 7704. Was that my original dividend? It is. So 233 with a remainder of 15 is my quotient. Okay? So that is the box method of division. Okay? Now, in your packets this week, you received some graph paper. Now guys, you don't have to use the graph paper, but this is to help you kind of keep things organized, okay? And so I'll show you how to use it. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to the traditional method of division, the standard algorithm, long division. Now, I will tell you guys, this is the way your parents learned, and I promise this is the way that they're going to want to try and help you. Okay? It's okay if you don't understand this. Try and teach your parents the box method, because it's not a lot different. It took Miss Lewis a little while to figure out that it was just bringing it over instead of bringing it down. So this is page 19 of our notes. And remember, you don't have to use both of these methods. You just have to choose one that works best for you, but I do want you to try both of them. So this is the 12th. Okay, and so we're going to just title this one here. We put this in our table of contents too, but we put standard algorithm. So long division. Okay, our objective is still the same. I can. So I'm going to do it. I can utilize the standard algorithm of long division to solve division problems. Okay. Okay, true Miss Lewis fashion. Gotta fold that paper in half. Alright, step one. You're going to place the dividend in the doghouse. Okay? And the divisor, we're just going to combine these. To the left. Okay? So here we go, step two. Write the multiples of the divisor and if you'll notice on the last video, or the last strategy, we wrote the first 5 and that was adequate. Sometimes we need to write more, sometimes we won't need that many. Okay? Step 3. Okay. Where have I seen this before? So does McDonald's sell burgers? Divide, multiply, subtract. Now this one is where it's a little bit different, okay? So we're going to divide. Then we're going to multiply. Think multiples. Subtract. And this one we're going to bring down the next digit. Okay? So, there's that. And then, of course, we do this all the way until we're done. And so we're just going to write a step 4 here. Woo! So we're going to check with the inverse operation. Okay? Alright, so let's do some example problems. So the first one that I want to do with you guys actually is I want to do one of those that we've already worked in the box method. Okay, so we're going to do example number 1. Let's just do 7,704 divided by 33. Okay, we're going to do it using long division. So we're going to put 7,704 in the doghouse. This is what I'm calling a doghouse. Divided by 33. So once again, we're going to come out here, we're going to list our multiples. 33, 66, 99, 132, 165. And yes, I was going off of memory. Okay, so in this one's a little bit different because you can actually place your first digit. And so what I mean by that, and I'm going to use a different color so maybe you guys can see it. Okay, so I look at this and I say, okay, can 33 go into 7? Well, no, it can't. 33 can go into 77 though. So I'm going to place my first digit here. So I know I'm going to have at least 1, 2, 3 digits in my quotient. I'm not going to have to do anything here. So I'm just going to start here. So 33 will go into 77. How many times? Well, 1, 2. So I've divided. Okay. I wrote my multiples. I'm here. I'm in step 3. I'm going to spend some time in step 3 before we go to step 4. So 33 goes into 77 2 times. I make sure that 2 is directly over the place that I am working in. So it's 77. 33 times 2 is 66. Okay, so I'm working here. I'm working right there. I subtract. I get 11. So now I'm at bring down the next digit. Well, my next digit is a 0. So now I'm working in the place above the 0. Okay, so that's where I'm going to write the next digit of my quotient is right above the 0 because that's where I'm working. So now I do 110 divided by 33. Well, 1, 2, 3, 99 is as close as it gets. I put a 3 here. 33 times 3 is 99. I put my 99 here. I've got to keep everything nice, neat, and lined up. Okay, and I subtract. So this becomes a 0, that becomes 11, it's now a 10, that's a 10, 1, 1. I bring down my next digit, which is a 4. I like to draw arrows. Okay, so now I have 114, so my next digit of my quotient is going to go right here. So 114, again, it's a 3. 33 times 3 was 99. I need to subtract. I borrow. 10, 14, okay, that gives me a 5 here, it gives me a 1 here, and so now I have this remainder, 15, and again I check with that inverse operation, and we know this one checks out because that was the same answer that we got in our box method, but that's what it looks like. That's the main difference, is you have to keep it lined up, and you're bringing down the next digit instead of bringing it over, okay? So let's look at another example. And it's going to be a different example. So let's look at example number 2. Got 3,136 divided by 64. Okay. So we look here, I've got to put my dividend, which is 3,136, in the doghouse. So I've got 3, 1, 3, 6, divided by, I put my divisor on to the left, 64. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to write my multiples. 64 times 2, 128 times 3, times 4, okay, times 5. Okay, so there we go. So now, once again, I've got to place my first digit. I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use purple, kind of like purple. So I asked myself, can 64 go into 3? Nope. Can 64 go into 31? Nope. 64 is still bigger than 31. Remember, it's got to be less than it. Can 63 go into 313? Yes. So I'm going to place my first digit there. So I'm going to have 2 digits, at least 2 digits in my quotient here. Okay? So I'm starting here, 64 into 313. How close can I get without going over? Right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 64 times 4 we wrote down was 256. Going to subtract. Okay, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So I've got to come over here and I've got to borrow from the 1. It becomes a 0. This becomes 13. Gives me a 7. I can't take 5 away from 0. I've got to borrow here. Becomes a 2. That becomes a 10. So I've got 57. Notice my amount here is less than my divisor, and so I know that this is at least reasonable. Okay, if it was greater than that, or if it was the same number as that, I didn't go in enough times. I would need to go in one more time and start over. So now I bring down my next digit, which is 6, so I've got 576. So something I've noticed is I haven't gone up high enough in my multiples here. So I stopped at 5, so 64 times 6, well 6 times 4 is 24. Regroup my 2, 6 times 6 is 36, 37, 38. Okay. Now I need to do 64 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 6, 42, 43, 44. What about 8 times 64? 8 times 4 is 32. 48, 49, 50, 51. 9 times 4, 36. 9 times 6, 54, 55, 56, 57. So that one is 576. So 9 times gives me 576, which is the exact same amount as I'm trying to go into, which gives me a leftover of 0, so there's no remainder here. So my quotient would just be 49. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. You will never, ever, ever put a 10 in this. So you will never need to go with your multiples further than the first 9 multiples, because you're not going to put a 10 in one single place value. Okay? So now I've got to check. So I've got 49 times 64. 4 times 9, 36. Regroup. 4 times 4 is 16, 17, 18, 19. So that's 196. I'm done with a 3. 0. 6 times 9 is 54. 24 plus 5 is 29. I'm going to add these up. I don't have a remainder to add back to it. 9 plus 4. 3136. Does it match? It does. So 49 is the correct quotient, right? So now, I want to show you guys really quickly, and I know this is kind of turning into a long video, and I apologize for that. I'm going to show you really quickly. Okay, it says long division at the top, but you can also use it for the box method. So let's look at this one here. I'm going to use a different color. What if I have, and I'm going to show you both ways. I have, so we'll say it's number 1. Got 3,720 divided by 15. Okay, so this is meant for a digit to go in each box. So the box method, I'm going to put BM for box method. So what I would do is I would draw a box. Now, my box needs to be at least 3 levels. And I would go, so 1, I need 2 digits. So 2 boxes per digit here. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to keep it all nice and neat. And that's at minimum. Okay, so here, 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 and here. So I still do the same thing. I'm going to put my 3 here. I'm going to put my 7 here. I'm going to put my 2 here. I'm going to put my 0 here. And I'm dividing by 15. Okay, so I put a digit in each box, but I'm leaving me some space for my bring over. Okay, so I'm going to do 15. I've got 30. I've got 45. 60, 75, 90. I'm going to stop there for now, okay? I can go on, but I'm going to stop there. So, 15, can it go into 3? No, so I'm not going to skip a step. I've got 15 times 0 is 0. I subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. I bring that 3 over, so now I'm working with 37. 15 into 37. Well, can't go over it, so I've got to go in that many times, so that's 2. 15 times 2 is 30. Subtract, get a 7. I bring over, so now it's 72. And you guys can draw those arrows for your bring over if you want to. If you don't like it, that's fine too. 72 without going over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. Dividing 15 times 4 is 60. So once again, just like over here, so I've got a 2 and I've got a 1. Notice 12 is less than 15, so I went in enough times right there, so I'm good. So I'm going to come bring over 12, okay, and I know I said one digit in each box, but I've got to bring that over because it's got to all come together. So 15 into 120. Well, I've noticed something. I haven't gone in enough times. So now I've got 105, and that's 120. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times gives me 120. I subtract, I get 0. I have no leftovers. So now I'm over here and I do 248, which is my quotient. I'm going to multiply it by 15 to check. Okay, 5 times 8 is 40. Regroup my 4. 24. Regroup my 2. I'm done with that. 10, 12. Okay, so I have a 0. And I have 8, 4, 2. And I add these. I get a 0. 12. 7. Well, it matches. So 248 is my correct quotient. Okay, so same type of problem, or I'm just going to do the same problem using the long division. So what we would do here is we would just draw our doghouse. Okay, I'm going to put 3, 7, 2, 0 divided by 15. I'm not going to rewrite these right now. So once again, I place my first digit. It won't go into 3, but it'll go into 37, so I'm going to have a digit here, and a digit here. So at least 3 digits in my quotient. Said 15 will go into 37. We said 1, 2 times. 15 times 2 was 30. Notice how I'm keeping everything lined up. Leaves me 7, that leaves me 0. I bring down the next digit, 72. We said that was 4. 15 times 4 was 60. Notice how I'm keeping everything lined up. I subtract. I have a 2. I have a 1. I bring down my next digit, so I have 120. I'm dividing here. Okay. So 15 into 120, we said 8. And we said that was 120. And we subtract, and we get 0. Okay, notice how everything lines up. That's why I gave you guys this, so you could keep things lined up. If you want to make some more copies of it, if you have that ability, you can. If you need a few more copies, please let me know. I tried to include enough, and it is front and back. Okay, so that being said, today you guys have notes and only notes with videos. Well, not only. You guys also have your daily review today, one side of it, 3-1. Tomorrow you guys will have a practice buddy assignment, Fab-7. There's 12 problems to practice. I want you to choose one of these methods and utilize it while you're working on that. And then on Thursday you have a workbook page, 4 through 14 even, and number 15. And make sure that you're looking for the information about our Zoom call this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys hopefully next week.